Well, good afternoon, and thank you again for joining me on my discussion in regards to constitution reform, about the whole aspect of governance, transparency, accountability in Jamaica, a part of the bigger discussion that I've been having in regards to Jamaica, and as Jamaica is propelling its way forward to become a fully independent state, a republic. Uh, and of course, this may not be a good topic for persons who are die-hearted, because most times, sometimes die-hearted persons or so may come back to me and say, uh, "Shut up, stay away, they are foreign. You throw a rock stone behind you, Jamaica." As well, sometimes they don't want to hear what objective voices are saying. But I'm reaching out actually to that 63%, the 63%, 70% of persons who do not engage in the political process in Jamaica. The 37% normally that vote in elections, they're normally stuck in their ways. Whatever you say, they'll be either, you know, green or they might be orange. But we're talking about this percentage of persons who do not engage in the political process. You are the ones that I'm actually reaching out to. Now, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, good friend of mine, she wrote an article recently calling Constitution Amendment Bill Perpetuating an Undemocratic Senate. Now, I've coined and I've changed the topic by saying we need an elected Senate. That's what I've changed it to be, you know. But her article came in the paper, I believe in Jamaica, in the Gleaner. The Constitution Amendment Republic Bill 2004, tabled in Parliament on December the 10th, 2024, addressed, amongst other things, she said, the composition of the Senate, Section 7, as guided by the final report of the Constitution Report Reform Committee, CRC, May 2024. The bill retains and expands an appointed Senate consistent with the legislative objectives to retain the parliamentary cabinet system of government. She said, I've argued elsewhere that retaining the system is a major flaw in the bill. An appointed Senate perpetuates the undemocratic authoritarian design of the structure of Parliament, featuring one, Prime Ministerial Cabinet, the executive, domination of the legislative process with inadequate oversight, and two, limited opportunities for our voices to be heard in the lawmaking process, especially to foster equitable economic development. It's time to rethink the whole retention of appointed senators. You see, like in the UK, the upper house, the House of Lords, comprise of peers, persons appointed, the churches, and all different aspects, and they will go to the second reading, and before it goes to the royal assent. And in the United States, the Senate is elected. The senatorial provision is saying that the CRC final report argued for expanding the Senate, including persons who are not aligned with the government or opposition parties and who would be able to exercise independent judgment on all issues. Thus, the bill increased the Senate from 21 to 27 members, 15 senators appointed by the president based on the prime minister's advice, 9 appointed by the president based on the leader of the opposition's advice, the 3 independent senators from civil society, the private sector, or diaspora groups, i.e., like myself in the UK, Canada, USA, by the president at his or her discretion. The increase perpetuates the built-in majority of legislators, favoring the ruling party as in the House, and so doing nullifies any real meaning of independent judgment. It also provides for the support of at least one opposition senator for entrenched constitutional measures that requires a two-thirds majority in the Senate. This avoids complete dominance of the legislative process by the executive only in those rare instances. However, it doesn't address the fact that appointed senators are not representatives of the people. And that's a key point there. Appointed senators are not representative of the people. They do not represent you. They represent Rogad, or they represent the opposition party. The CRC argued that senators appointed on the recommendation of the PM and leader of the opposition also enjoy the popular support secured by the parties through the general parliamentary elections. This is spurious, she said. Retaining an undemocratic body. Prior to 1962, colonial governors made appointments to the Legislative Council, the precursor to the Senate, to reinforce the legislative interests of the colonial administration and ruling class. It was never intended to be a representative body. Do you really want appointed person, appointed prime minister, appointed president, appointed senators? Got to be elected, voice of the people. Since 1962, appointed senators have perpetuated this undemocratic feature of the legislative process. Perhaps the most important principle in a representative democracy is that the people freely elected their representatives to make laws to represent their will. The will of the people is very important. Appointed senators contradict this principle. While senators appointed or elected can provide expertise and experience, appointed senators lack a democratic mandate to express the people's will in the lawmaking process. Retaining this structure is unacceptable if we want to improve the representative democracy. The bill provision for appointed senators with its built-in automatic majority in favor of the ruling party is not only undemocratic, she says, but preserves executive domination of the ordinary legislative process. Further, it perpetuates all the key flaws that limit our economic development prospects. Other limitations, let's look at them. There are four. First, no senatorial oversight of executive decisions weakens our capacity to limit the abuse of power and to prevent corruption. Secondly, appointed senators have no capacity to foster transparency and consensus building in the lawmaking process and ensure accountability in the implementation of the law. Third, an appointed Senate cannot address spatial inequality of access to development opportunities, that is, unequal distribution of development opportunities across the parishes. Finally, appointed senators have no constitutional power to influence the development budget by forcing consensus amongst the executives and non-executive legislators. Therefore, they cannot strengthen economic development efforts in underdeveloped communities across Jamaica. Do we want that? Do Jamaica want that? What do you think? It needs to be a change if you want that. As a matter of fact, the power is in the hands of the people. We need an elected Senate. That's a big question. Or that's a big answer. The main reason we need an elected Senate, she says, is to strengthen our representative democracy in four important ways. One, strengthen oversight of the executive. Two, enhance participatory governance. Three, represent parishes equitably at the national level. And four, ensure equitable access to development opportunity by all parishes and their communities. Now, of the 82 countries classified by Freedom House as free democracies in 2021, 48 countries have a unicameral system, that is, a single legislative chamber, and 34 have a bicameral system, that is, two legislative chambers. Only 12, mainly Caribbean countries, have an appointed Senate second chamber. The other 22 countries with elected or indirectly elected Senate second chamber have a common feature. Senators represent subnational units, example states, provinces, or regions at the national level. Now, I believe that is the new way and the best way for it to go in Jamaica, that senators represent the people, elected in the upper house, representing the wishes and the will of the people. Yeah, it is a feature that can unleash underutilized economic potential in underdeveloped communities. And parishes across Jamaica Elected senators can balance the power of the majority of MPs in the House of Representatives, concentrated in the most populated parishes. Example, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, and St. James. Now, that's where a lot of constituencies are concentrated in. An equal representation of all parishes in the Senate, including the least populated parishes, Portland, Hanover, and Trelawney. Elected senators can enhance development opportunities. What do you think? In underdeveloped parishes, by making sure that each parish has a fair and equitable share of the national capital development budget. The move to become a republic, which is a key thing now, is taking place in a rapid change and a changing world with unprecedented challenges. We need, I propose and I second the article, an elected Senate that strengthens our representative democracy. I've gone out on a limb as well by saying that we need not a ceremonial president, but an elected president as well. Executive president. And this will facilitate economic development and improves our capacity to effectively respond to contemporary and future global challenges. Perpetuating the old, undemocratic system of appointed senators in the bill, therefore, is insupportable. Now you can read the article by Professor Rosalie Hamilton in the Gleaner of today, the 23rd of the 2nd. But I just wanted to amplify it and just to say it is great that they are thinkers. We don't need to reinvent new wheels in thinking. We just need to amplify it so others can hear. So I'm appealing and I'm reaching out to the 63% of those who do not get involved in the electoral process in Jamaica, those who do not really go to vote, and those who stay on the veranda and just contemplate. It is time to get engaged in the full political process. Not just leave it to the 37% or the 40% who doesn't really matter because they don't change. They're either PNP or they're the GLP. But the one that can make fundamental changes is that 63%, that 70% who do not engage a lot in the process. They do not like to go on social media or so because people just attack them. But they are the ones that say, call the election. They will make a big difference or so. I'm appealing to you, not for any particular political party, but to be a part of the process, that think it through, that changes, that want to see constitutional reform, that want to see impeachment, want to see recall, want to see fixed term and fixed date for elections. That's what we're talking about. The power of the people is in the hands of the people. It is your country. It is your money. Okay? And the government and the political officers, they're actually your servants, not your masters. My name is SYLBOURNE Showw from the diaspora, my perspective in the UK. Remember to like and share, watch my video, and let me know what you think. Thank you very much.